Today I'm in the West Hollywood neighborhood of Los Angeles. You'll know West Hollywood for iconic streets like Sunset Strip, Santa Monica Boulevard, Melrose Avenue, as well as iconic venues like the House of Blues, Whiskey A Go-Go, and the Viper Room. The Heart and Hunter is a quaint Southern-inspired restaurant located in a boutique hotel on Melrose Avenue. Today I'm having brunch with legendary food critic Jonathan Gold. Gold is a Pulitzer Prize winning critic, writer, and Los Angeles culinary institution. I'm Ben Vaughn, and this is The Breakfast Show.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having breakfast with me.
Breakfast anytime.
I know, right? Why this place? This is your town. This is your town.
You chose the restaurant.
Well, I was looking for like a southern reminiscent food in LA because I live in the South. Just finished a cookbook, 100 recipes, 10 states, kind of like a family heirloom recipe type of thing. And I always speak about southern food, so when I travel to other locations, it's fun to see their interpretation. If it's a real South or if it's an Epcot South, you know, like Germany land in Epcot.
I've probably turned down TV stuff like well into the triple figures. This is the first.
Sure.
This is the first thing I've ever done that's remotely like
Why'd
that.
you do it?
When I renounced or whatever,
Right.
admitted I was no longer anonymous, it came with a picture on the front page of the Times.
Right.
That clearly the documentary is out, and
Yeah.
it's not the time to be coy about it anymore. I'm perfectly happy not to have been a judge on reality food shows.
Think you'll ever do it?
I don't know. I've said no to pretty much every one of them you can think of, though.
Yeah.
Kind of punk rock in its way.
That is a little punk rock.
I guess maybe we're in a southern restaurant, so country ham is something you hardly see anymore, at least in LA. It's, you know, obviously you see plenty of it in Kentucky.
Sure.
And it just has that, you know, special concentration and that special flavor and that gaminess and the sense of place to it that's, I think, sort of uniquely American. And it'd be nice to see that sometimes instead of, you know, prosciutto. There's a lot of cured meats out here, and there's a lot of people who are curing their own meats and doing a really good job of it. But yeah, that you can't even buy it. I mean, I mail order mine from
I gotta send you
Kentucky.
some. Do you get pens? Pens in Kentucky?
Well, I don't get pens.
Pens is great. I'm gonna send you some.
I get.
Jeff, we're gonna mail you some ham. How often does that happen? My meat box, my mailbox.
Sure.
I am, and you are. Go for it.
Can I get the biscuits and gravy without the egg, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have to try the grits.
Yes.
I don't need to.
Right. Do you want to do the shrimp and grits?
No, I'd like to try the grits and the croque. What's a normal breakfast for you?
Lately, I've been doing a lot of like charred baguettes.
Really?
You ever done that? It's so delicious. You take a baguette, you do a chunk, you cut it in half, you put it on a grill, or I have this stovetop grill called Tostapane that for some reason you can find in every single hardware store in Italy for like $6, but nobody in the US has. You've got to get it, but you can even do it over an open stove flame if you want.
Okay.
So it just like burn the hell out of the bottom, toast it, and then you sort of vary what you put on top.
Whatever you spread?
Yeah, you could, you know, sometimes it's nice with like fresh ricotta, salt and pepper.
You burn the crunchy side or the soft side?
I burn the crunchy side more, but I also burn the other
Okay.
side. Because if you're going to do some burning, you might as well do some burning.
I knew when I stopped laying in my bed and throwing the baseball in the air and started sketching out how I was going to build my next plate at 14 or 15.
Very funny.
Yeah, it was going to be something that I moved into. So I love what you do. I think you champion the underdog, right? You're looking at the less obvious restaurants to find the hidden gem.
Because they're more interesting a lot of the time. I mean, it's not happening as much anymore, but it used to be, say, 15 years ago here, that you would have a chef who was a pretty good chef with a pretty good restaurant, and he'd, for some reason, want to put a, let's say, a Thai noodle on his menu. You know, Thai noodles were, you know, vegetable. They use lots of vegetables, or they can. That everybody, you know, looks in the flavor Bible and they figure out, you know, the 4 things you need to put together to make it taste Thai. I think that, you know, young chefs are, young cooks, young eaters are becoming really, really conversant in the cuisines of the world and the way they're put together and the flavor profiles of things and the way, the aesthetics that aren't necessarily the aesthetics they were brought up with.
Right.
And a lot of the places that would traditionally have been reviewed by, I guess, the lead critic for the LA Times, you know, the 14th best Italian restaurant in Beverly Hills, I don't care about as much.
Right.
If it's the best restaurant, that's fine. I mean, you know, if chefs working at the highest level are gods and they must be catered to. People sort of doing a menu because it's kind of the menu that maybe somebody told them they should do. It bores me. I don't see why I have to spend that much time around it.
Is there anything when you're out tasting or discovering new flavors, new chefs, new restaurants, new techniques, do you feel surprised ever to see something and you're like, surprised in a great way? Amazing food?
No, I mean that's one of the reasons I love writing about food so much. And somebody will be doing something, and you'll be, how the hell did they do that? Whatever, 10,000, 15,000 professional meals eating out, and it's like, I can still be knocked backwards by a bowl of freaking porridge.
That's awesome.
And you gotta have that.
Yeah. You know, equally important to Country Ham is hot sauce selection.
Yeah.
Huge.
Do you house ferment your own?
No. It's like, am I gonna make ketchup? Can I make it better than Heinz?
No.
No. Well, yeah. Same with. I mean, I can probably make a good hot sauce. However, the condiments, I don't think. No.
I think that's why you don't see that many artisanal ketchups, because you're just not going to make a ketchup better than Heinz.
It was the thing for a while, right?
No, everybody tried, but
Smoky, mango-y, peachy. It was like, oh. And it was all like chutney.
Yeah, it
More or
was.
less, yeah.
Because you need that, there's that weird glossiness that probably comes with more corn syrup than any like honest chef would ever feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I use the example of this Taiwanese restaurant that I went to a million years ago.
Right.
And I'm not sure I've ever hated a meal so much in my life, right? It was my first time encountering like a really intense bitter melon, which is like, it's not like bitter like coffee, it's bitter like cancer medicine, right? I mean, it's a bitterness that just keeps going. But it fools you because when it's braised properly, it's also as luscious as the ripest best melon you've ever had.
Right.
There was this sort of mucousy soup that that had this weird smokiness as if somebody had stubbed cigarettes out in it. There was.
Did you just not write about that?
There was stinky tofu.
Yes.
It's
not pleasant.
And I realized that what was wrong was not the food, it was me. It was my culturally relativistic way of looking at this food. The chef had been turning out the food that he meant to turn out. It wasn't a mistake that the tofu smelled like an untended garbage bin in August. And I went back to this place 17 times, right? Every time ordering some of the same things, some of the different things, going back to the same thing. So I really wanted to understand the context in which this food was being served. I really wanted to know, I really felt it was important to sort of have this universe within what I was looking at. And after I was there so often, I think some of the waitresses thought I was trying to date them. I was there so much that the owner of the place, called me his American customer. And after 17 times, I thought I was ready to write the review, and I did. And I very much made it clear that this is what you're going to be tasting, and this is what you're going to experience. And unless you're coming at it from this very particular angle, you are not going to like this at all. But I felt I was able to do the restaurant service, at least in terms of who the LA Times readership was.
Right.
And I think 95% of critics would go in there, they'd have that horrible meal, they'd make fun of like the sort of people who would eat like stinky tofu and snot soup, and they would let it go. So it is very possible for me to go and to eat something that isn't my bag and to sort of be able to appreciate it, and that's so really important. Is that a rule of criticism? I don't know. I mean, usually I'll always go to a restaurant at least 4 times, usually 5. If it's a cuisine I'm not super familiar with, maybe a lot more. I always reserve anonymously under different phone numbers, so at least they don't know I'm coming.
Yeah, that's a
They'll
good
know
idea.
when I'm there, but they don't know when I'm coming.
Right.
So,
It's the best opportunity to catch them at their normal, not their best or their worst.
Yeah. So they're not going to be able to like,
Right.
fly Eric Ripert in to do the sauces for them. I don't know if anybody would do that, but
I wouldn't put it past a restaurateur in need of a great review. Oh, he's got a few $100 laying around. Fly Eric Ripert in. Oh, it's good stuff. I've had a blast. Thanks for having breakfast with me.